Welcome to Lab 7 of AZ-500, Azure Security Technologies. In this one, the title of the lab is actually Key Vault. And what we're going to do here is we're going to set up Azure SQL database with the always encrypted functionality in such a way that the keys are actually saved in Key Vault. Right? As always, the instructions are in GitHub. The link is available in the show notes. And we're going to start off by getting PowerShell into Cloud Shell. So as this is a environment provided by the lab supplier, we don't have anything here, so we need to actually set up PowerShell. I'm just going to use our existing subscription here. And I want to create a storage account. And then in our resource group, I'm just going to use East US here as always. Give it a random name and so on. So while that is deploying, we don't really actually need it yet. Rather, we have a ARM file given to us in the GitHub repo that will install a virtual machine and a Azure SQL database for us. So let's just go to deploy a custom template. Oops. Oh yeah, just a little bit slow. Build in the editor, and then we're going to upload the file. And it's going to be here, all files, no? Desktop, all files, yeah. Labs, and this was lab number 10. And then here we have the deployment JSON. And you can go through it, you can see that it's actually going to create a instance based on Visual Studio 2019, and a storage account, network, all kinds of stuff. And then finally also a virtual machine. And then over here, the extension that will install SQL Server management. And then here is the actual SQL Server or Azure SQL database being installed as well, or being created as well. Okay, that's all good. So let's save this. Now we need to set up some parameters here. So the resource group is either one for you or the one in this lab environment that already exists. East US, student here. We could create a nice password. Just check I got that right. There we go. And then we review and create, and then we wait. Okay, finally it's done. That took a while, like 20 minutes, even more. But finally it's done. So now we go back to our PowerShell. Now we actually need it. All right, so we're in PowerShell. And we're going to use this to work with Key Vault. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is create a name for our Key Vault. So the way that we do this is like this. So we first create a random name AZ-500 KV plus some random stuff. And then we define the location based on our resource group, which is East US. And then we create a key vault, new AZ key vault with that name that we just generated in our resource group, in the location of that resource group. And we want to disable RBAC authorization. All right, now it's created. So then let's look for it over here. Key vault. And here it is. And now what we want to do is we want to create an access policy. So one way to do that is to look here on the overview section. We have access policies right here or here, right? Click on access policies, and there are none currently. So we want to create one. We want to create a use a template here. The template is key secret and certificate management. And then if we scroll down, we can see that we can set up different key permissions. So we want to have all of the key permissions, right? All of them. Then under cryptographic operations, we want to have a sign, right? So it's down here. Yep, the last one. Then under secret permissions, we want to have all of the secret management options. And under certificate permissions, we want to have all of the 15 management operations as well. It's cool. Then we need to select the principal. Now we need to add ourselves. So whatever our user account is, right? For us, it's this kind of user account. It should look like, well, yeah, it's a little bit clunky, this one. And then next. Application-wise, we're okay. And then we just create. There we go. So next up, we're going to add a key to the key vault. We're going to use PowerShell for that again. So in KV, we're first going to get a reference to the key vault that we have over here. And then we're going to add a key to that, into that vault called MyLab key. And then we're going to get a reference to that into the key variable as well. That's done. Another thing we could do here is just check that the key has been created using get AZ key value key. Get AZ key value key. And here we can see that the key has actually been created. The key ID is in this variable that we got from the creation itself. So now in the portal, if we go over to objects and keys, we should be able to see our freshly generated key in here, as we do. And then this is the current version of that key, and we can see its information as well. All right, let's next add a secret to this key vault. So we're going to create a secret value kind of representing a password here. And then we're going to set that up. And again, we can check that that secret has been actually created. It has. And again, over here, we can go to key vault and then secrets, and we can see our password over here. Perfect. So next we're going to use Azure SQL database with these particular keys. So first we need to add an application. So I'm going to register an application here. And we're going to call it the SQL app. The redirect URI is in the web. It's going to be HTTPS SQL app. All right, so let's register that. And then here, what we need is the application ID. I take a copy of that. Let's put it into Notepad. All right. And then now, under this app itself, we can have further certificates and secrets. Now we can add a client secret. Let's just call it key 1 and then have it on for 12 months. And now we need that value of key 1 as well. So let's just take that into Notepad as well. All right. Then we need to allow our application to access the key vault, right? So we can do this in PowerShell. So we're first going to define the application ID as being the value we just copied. Like that. And then we get back the key value, store name again, that one. So then what we could do is set a key vault access policy for that key vault name that we just looked up in our resource group. The application ID is going to be the service principal name, and then we are going to give it the get wrap key, unwrap key, sign, verify, and list permissions. Cool, that's done. All right. So we created a SQL instance previously. So let's take a look at what that really looks like. There's a database there called medical. Yeah, that seems correct. And then as part of that database, under settings, we should be able to see the connection strings. So what we want to have here is the ADO.NET connection string with SQL authentication. So this one. And again, I'm going to copy paste it into Node. Password here should be replaced with the password that you've created earlier. So this is my very secret password. Okay, so then let's go to that virtual machine. I think it's this one. Again, here we need to take a look at the public IP address and then copy that down. And then go back to our database. Again, we're going to need the server name of this one. It should be available for us somewhere over here. All right. So after copying that server name, we can set server firewall through here. That'll bring us to the server instance and its name. So in here, we can then go to firewall rules and then add a firewall rule. Allow management VM, and this now should be the IP we previously called. All right, save that. So now if you go back to our VM, let's try to connect. So let's open SSMS. All right. And then let's get our server name. Where did we? Didn't. Yes, we do. In here. For authentication, we're going to use SQL Server authentication. The username was student. And this was our very good password. And then let's connect. And it works. So you see, we should have our medical database here available. Do. And maybe just create a quick query here to make sure everything works as per the instructions. The indentation doesn't really work. It's okay, we can still execute it. And it worked. Okay, so now we should under tables, have our patients table that we just created. And now what we can do here is right click on patients and then select encrypt columns. So what we get with here is this always encrypted wizard, right? So let's just get onwards. We should get to column selection. And then here, what we want to select is maybe some private information. So maybe the social security number, and then the birthday. Yeah. And let's say that we have, sorry, for the social security number, we have deterministic encryption type, and then for birth date, randomized encryption type. Okay, onwards to master key configuration. And now here we have the opportunity to go to Azure Key Vault, right? Now we need to sign in to Azure here because this Windows machine is not currently signed in. Let me just do that. Horrible. I think it should work. All right, so I think we're in here correctly, right? So the subscription is right, and this was our key vault, the only one that we have in this environment. Let's just go to run settings. This should be working nicely. Then to summary, and then to finish. Sign in again. Okay, so finally the encryption is done. And now, in principle, we should be able to see this security and then always encrypted. And then we should see, scroll a bit here. So we have some column master keys. This is the key that we created, right? And then we have a column encryption key. This one, which is used for encrypting the individual columns. All right, so going to take a look at how this stuff works. From an application point of view, let's start Visual Studio here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is create a new project. And what we're going to do is use a console app in .NET, right? Let's see if we can. And then maybe select C# as the language. Right, so this one. Let's call it Ops Encrypt. And 472 is okay. Now under tools. Looks a bit different, right? Package manager. And then let's install the support for always encrypted, with Key Vault being the key provider. And then let's also install Active Directory as an identity model. All right, so then we have some code in our environment here. So go to all files, 10, and then the program CS. Maybe open this in Notepad would be easiest. Yeah. And then everything, and then copy. And then let's overwrite the existing code, the code that was right here. Okay. A couple of changes are required. So first of all, the connection string, we need to take from the environment we had previously, right? So over here, we have the connection string, it's this one. So let's put that in there. Cool. Then we have the client ID. So that's the application ID. So that was this one. Oops. There we go. And then we have the key that we created. This one. Put that. So that should be everything that we need to run our application. So let's see what happens. That's asking us for password, so this should be the password that we used. Cool, and now it works. It added some stuff into the database. So if you go back to the Management Studio here, then we should now be able to see that information, right? So if we kind of go to here and create a new query, it could be something like this, right? First name, last name, SSN, birth date from patients. Now when we execute this, we get back an encrypted version of the social security number and the birth date, right? However, in our application, go back over here, and we look for a SSN that exists, that it just entered, like 999-99-0003. It gives us back the data in a decrypted format. So everything works as it should. Thanks again for listening to me for this lab. Remember to remove any of the resources you might have created during this lab to not occur any more charges. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next lab. Till then, bye.